Good evening, everyone. I'm Johan, and welcome back to another video on this channel, Hardcore Spirituality. How's your heart this evening? Is your heart kind? Is your heart kind? How is your mind? Is your mind calm and clear? Well, I'm Johan, the host of Hardcore Spirituality, and I have another story for you. Let's break it down. So the title of this video is Paper Tagger Spirituality. So I wanted to give you a definition which will explain why I used that phrase. So according to Merriam-Webster, a paper tagger, the meaning of that saying or term paper tagger means one that is outwardly powerful but inwardly weak or ineffectual. What does paper tagger mean? One that is outwardly powerful but inwardly weak or ineffectual. So I want to thank some of my subscribers for thanking me, actually, and sharing some the struggles that they're going through on issues like alcoholism and, walking a spiritual path. Questions like, do I need a teacher, a spiritual teacher? And I chose this title. I'm making up a whole new phrase, so if you use it, you got it here. Paper tagger spirituality. Let me read it one more time for you. Paper tagger means one that is outwardly powerful, but inwardly weak or ineffectual. So if you've been following me for a while, you already know I have two stints, if you could call them that, STINTS, in the 12-step program. The first one from 1988 till 2001. I was sober, but not spiritual. And when I thought about this today and meditated it on, the whole day, that's when I came up with, just now, before I started this video, paper tagger spirituality. I mean, I look good outside. On the outside, powerful. I knew to talk, right? Was going to meetings every day. But inwardly, what does it say? Inwardly, I was weak or ineffectual as a spiritual person. One who practices spiritual principles, because I wasn't really doing that. I did get to the 10th step, but that was about it. So I went out for 3 years, picked up, it got bad, and made it back. When I say made it back alive, to life, okay? And started all over again, going to meetings, which I know what they're all about. And then I, after a point of time, realized what was missing in my life the first 13 years in the 12-step program. And that was spirituality, spiritual principles, spiritual beliefs, spiritual values. one of the, how could I say it? One of the changes, that's not the word I want to use. What happened to get me to think about where I was going the second time as a member of a 12-step program, there were several. And I told you about one of them the other day. I started asking questions about, terms in the AA book. And people couldn't give me answers. People who professed, to know a lot, like that Emery guy. When I asked him what was where it talks about in the big book, we've been rocketed into the fourth dimension of existence. We never knew existed or never knew possible. And he didn't know the answer. Well, it is what it says it is, the fourth dimension. And the other thing that caught my attention was this guy with a lot of time, like 15 years, would say at almost every meeting, if you don't remember your last drunk, you didn't have it yet. If you don't remember your last drunk, you didn't have your last drunk yet. Meaning, you're going to get drunk again. And he always followed it, but you'll be safe if you go to meetings every day. That scared me for a long time because I couldn't remember my last drunk. And when I look back on it now, he would say this, and then and there weren't many. Say there was a group of 30 people, maybe 5 would say, oh yeah, I remember my last drunk. I had my last drunk because I remember it. And it used to scare me. Time went on, maybe even a year or so, and one day I was meditating, I was like, wait a minute. By the time I was 16, I was a blackout drinker. You know what a blackout drinker is? So by the time I was 15, 16, I was a blackout drinker, and I was a blackout drinker from 16 years old till 29 years old. The first time I got into the program. So for 13 years, I was a blackout drinker. And no, I don't remember my last drunk. But you'll never threaten me with crap like that again. That's why I don't go to meetings, because of this stuff. So I started to, do my investigations about spirituality, because the book says all we have is a daily reprieve contingent on the maintenance of our spiritual condition. Well, what is our spiritual condition? If you go back to Appendix B in the big book, it says what a spiritual awakening is, that profound personality change sufficient to bring about recovery. Well, how do you have that profound personality change? If you go to the beginning of the book, in a doctor's opinion, there's a discussion going on, and the doctor says, yeah, well, I've worked with people like you, but it's almost a hopeless case, except I believe alcoholics could be helped if they have the psychic change, if they have a psychic change. And he goes on to describe what a psychic change is, this doctor, and I don't remember it verbatim. And he says something to the effect of ideas, concepts, and motives that were once the driving force in these people, alcoholics. The ideas, concepts, and motives that were once the driving force in these people are cast aside, sometimes suddenly, and new ideas, motives, and concepts are adopted. What are they? Spiritual principles. In the foreword of the 12 and 12 book, it says the 12 steps are principles spiritual in nature that, when practiced as a way of life, will expel the obsession to drink and enable the sufferer to live happily and usefully whole. There's a lot of talk about God. There's a lot of talk about God's will. So I went on this separate journey investigating spirituality. I could only explain it to you this way, what happened to me, for real. Because if you've been to meetings, you heard this thousands of times. Well, my attitude and outlook on life changed, right? Well, they're the ones that come in to meetings every day complaining about the same thing year after year after year after year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 25 years, still complaining about the wife, still complaining about the husband, still complaining about the kids, still complaining about the stepkids. If it wasn't for my in-laws, the neighbor next door, these type of things. So their attitude and outlook on life never changed. What changed for me was when I got honest with myself. So there's this big debate now. Well, not a big debate. There's a little bit of a debate going on since I posted that video by that guru Mooji. Do I need a spiritual teacher? And what he says in there, if you haven't watched that video, is key. Why? Well, in AA, they call him a sponsor. Spiritual teacher, same thing. Because we tend to be manipulative in life. We tend to be manipulative in life. Well, anybody. Not just alcoholics. We get off track in life. We fall short. And this is where a teacher comes in and gets our attention. So I stopped manipulating the human system when I got a teacher. Also in that video, do I need a spiritual teacher? Mooji says, pray for one. Ask God, the higher power, whatever it is you believe, send me one. Show me one. Introduce me to one. Here in the West, United States, Canada, Europe, I don't know of any gurus I can consult with one-on-one. Now, the guru who is my teacher has a center in Tennessee. So you have to pay to go there. But he covers a lot of stuff at that center. Isha, ISHA Center in Tennessee. It's run by Sadhguru, Sadhguru. Have I met the man? No. But I did what Mooji did, 20 years ago. 19 years ago. I don't know if it was Mooji or another guru or teacher. I watched in a video, it said pray for a guru, a teacher to come into your life. And this is how I found Sadhguru. I purposely explain this in videos. I wasn't raised in that tradition, that culture. I'm raised in the American culture. Gods, guns, and, I don't know, money. Most of those cultures, and I mentioned that I believe earlier this morning, India is not as spiritually on fire as it used to be. Because Western culture has invaded it. But anyhow, so I started reading books by Sadhguru and listening to his teachings. I'm not telling you to pick him. I'm just telling you my experience. I prayed. And then one day I watched video and it resonated with me, and I bought books and watched more videos. And I started putting into practice his teachings. But I cannot. In quite a bit of the cases, understand it, because it's from a totally different culture. It seems foreign to me, okay? And there's a lot involved. Like I was talking about Samadhi early this morning. If you didn't watch that movie from, I don't know, video I put up 6-7 videos ago, Samadhi. Samadhi. In the Hindu tradition, there's 7 levels of it. In the Buddhist tradition, there's 8 levels of it. And you want to achieve moksha, which is just awakening. Samadhi, I've boiled it down to focus, awareness, and meditation. And it's changed my life, okay? And the other reason I like Sadhguru is he's a hard ass. He's a hard ass. And sometimes I don't like what he has to say, but it's something I need to hear. And maybe you found a teacher like that out there. As a matter of fact, go back to that video. If you're watching his video, go back to that video. Do I need a spiritual teacher? Please don't be an asshole, or there'll be consequences. But some people are saying things about, spiritual teachers. Maybe you could suggest one, or suggest how to get one. I want you to be interactive on this channel. I'm just telling you how I found mine. When you have this spiritual awakening, this psychic change, based on teachings from a master. It doesn't have to be a guru. There's lots of masters out there. There's a rabbi I haven't watched for a while. He's another hard ass, right? From New York. He's got good messages, good teacher there. So they're out there, okay? But I take their teachings and apply them to my life. I start my day every morning. I get up, I go to the bathroom, I go out on my deck and sit in silence for 5 minutes and collect my thoughts. I don't turn on my TV. I don't go on my cell phone. Nothing like that. I go out there, sit in silence. I just put a video out about that last week, I believe. But then I ask myself questions. What do I need to do today? What should I do today? What do I have to do today? What's the most important? Focus. That's focus. I go right out there. I don't turn on the TV, go on the phone, and get my mind overstimulated with technology. because then I can't focus. Maybe sometimes I'm sitting out there and I'm like, well, there's really nothing big to do. You know, I got everything done. And I'll be sitting out there and, oh crap, I forgot about whatever it is. And then I say, well, that's the most important thing I have to do today. Are you following me? Because most people don't do that. They turn on a TV, they go on their phone, they're playing video games, watching pornography, right? They don't ask themselves those questions. They don't focus. They don't collect their thoughts. They go about their day. And then at the end of the day, when it's like, oh, I got a voicemail. What? What are you talking about? I didn't pay that bill. And maybe the guy yells at his wife, why didn't you tell me? Maybe the wife says the same thing. She gets the call. You're the man of the house. Why don't you back me up on this? Help me out. You see, by then it's too late. So that's why I get my shit together first thing in the morning. But it's not paper tiger spirituality today. I'm not trying to wield some power over other people in the group. You know, like at AA meetings, group spokespeople. They run the group. They're narcissists, really. And today I understand that what's on the back of the AA coin, to thine own self be true, which is from Shakespeare. To thine own self be true, and this must follow the night as the day, and then thou canst not be false to any man. Because you know, it developed along the way, this time, is I have a conscience. And I've taken those steps and I make a daily conscious contact with God. God consciousness, the sixth sense it talks about in the 11th step. And it's different for everyone. Maybe you don't need a spiritual teacher. Maybe you're still drinking and you're thinking, I've tried, I can't. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, don't go to an AA meeting. If you are a heavy drinker and you've been drinking for a long time, don't go to an AA meeting. You need to go somewhere where there's medical supervision to stop drinking. Because if you don't do it properly, and you start getting those withdrawals, there could be health consequences. And I would never tell anyone to go to a rehab in a big city. I pray you have some type of health insurance. Find somewhere in the country that doesn't have a lot of people. They have doctors to take you through the withdrawal process. They have counselors there, right? That aren't going to tell you if you didn't have your last drunk, you didn't have your last drunk, if you can't remember it. Type of shit. Okay? Paper tiger spirituality is something that goes on in those meetings. I go to meetings every day. I have the power. No, you don't. You're a paper tiger spiritual person. Paper tiger. Okay? We'll talk more about this in the next couple of days. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. Thank you if you share my videos. If you get something out of it, it'd be nice to know. Not just for me, but for other people. I'll see you in the next video, hopefully. Johan out. Peace.